Good afternoon, people in the YouTube community. I'm here, talking Lighty, wanted to do another video for you guys. I actually wanted to kind of not really have the camera kind of pointed in my face on this one here, because I find sometimes that when I do videos, for the most part, when I'm away from the camera, and I may have a picture up and I'm talking in the background, I really feel like I give more informative information when I do videos like that. And I also feel like I feel really relaxed, where I can just be free to just be wild. Well, not too wild, but just, it seems to me that it really helps me to be a bit more creative as opposed to actually sitting in front of a camera with a screen pointed at me. I don't really feel like, like I'm being judged or something of that nature. So I figured that in this particular video, I would actually want to, talk about, some things that is making its rounds on social media that really is supposed to, I guess, do one thing, but is actually turning out to be something quite different. I don't know if you guys actually was paying attention for the most part with the news and such, but, we have a president here, again, and I would never, classify him as my president, but I'll always refer to him as that man that's up there in the White House. That's how I will always refer to him, because, again, he doesn't really stand for anything that I particularly stand for. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But if you were paying attention to the news recently, you may have seen where his administration is trying to bring back segregation. And, one thing I can always say is that this is the time to really start to really pick up our books and really learn. You know what I mean? I understand, we're supposed to be reading and learning it all the time, regardless of the situations of what's going on in our world. But in this particular here, this president, before it's all said and done, he's going to make black folks really a lot smarter. Not that we're not already intelligent, but he's going to really make us to really think long and deep about some of the things to really see what he is really trying to do and the message that he's really trying to deliver. And even though we already know what Trump stands for, he's really making it really easier for us to unite as blacks. As long as I can remember and recall, when I was growing up, my parents, would talk to us ever so often about how their people were treated, and how they faced racism and how their education was in the public school system. And for the most part, some of the things that they actually had to go through, even well until adulthood, where they actually were denied different services, or they were called names, in a really slick, a backhanded manner, and it really fascinated me, because really growing up, in the classrooms, for the most part, the teachers would really teach those, you would teach things like that for the most part. But it really hit home when your parents actually told you of those things that they faced, and their parents, going way back. But I remember one time when my dad was saying that he was actually working, and he's retired now, of course, but he was working one night, and, he was actually in charge, I guess, of training someone. And basically, he was going through the methods and everything of training them and everything. And the person that he was training, their wallet happened to drop on the floor. Well, when the wallet dropped on the floor, it come to find out, my dad looked at the wallet and he actually saw that this person that he was training, it saw that he actually had an ID card, because he was an active participant in the Ku Klux Klan. And that was, I guess, his membership ID card or something along that nature. And when my dad was telling me this, I thought that, my dad would be enraged, he would get all upset, would get beside himself. But, I had to give it to my dad. That basically, it really surprised him, because he never thought that, that the person that he was training would actually turn out to be racist. I'll just call it for what it is. But he laughed, because he says that basically, when he found out, or when the person found out that my dad was looking at his ID card on the floor there, he expected for, my dad to get out of character, shouting and all this other type of stuff, even to the most part, going and running and notifying management of what, he had discovered. But one thing that my dad did, and I always will give, props to my dad, is that, he still kept calm and cool, you know, and the thing about it is that he really looked up at the fella or looked at the fella after he went down there to pick up his wallet. The guy picked up his wallet, and after he came up, picking it up, he just looked at him and just smiled and just kind of laughed a little bit, and I guess by my dad laughing, it kind of made him a bit uneasy. And see, I say all of that to say this, is that man in the White House, Trump, he is doing all of these things to try to get a reaction out of black folks. Okay? And I really want people to really understand what I'm saying and where I'm going with this. Because see, one thing about it is that what folks don't understand, or what we should know by now, is that America would not be America if it weren't for black folks. If you really want to be honest and clear about this whole entire thing, America was built on the backs of hardworking black folks. Okay? The only thing is that through our hard work, white folks actually saw it and saw that it was profitable. That's when they wanted to actually take over and actually claim our work as their own. I am not stupid. I'm not racist myself, but I am knowledgeable. Okay? I don't go around spewing other people's, knowledge. I don't go around speaking other people's philosophy. If there's something that I want to know, I pick up a book, I read, I research. We have all of these resources that are available to us right now. And it's really important that we actually use these resources, because basically, again, you don't know what the future may hold, where all of these things may slowly be trying, where they may try to take these things away from us. That's why I always tell folks, knowledge is power. Out of everything that someone can take away from you, they cannot take away from you what you know. Okay? That's real talk. There's time to play games, but right now, again, playtime was over. It's been over. We need to start educating ourselves, because again, the Bible, reiterates and tells us that there's nothing new under the sun. It's like history repeats itself. So by this man in the White House, Trump, who is your president, because I definitely don't claim him, he wants to bring back these things here, that we thought that we actually fought our way, to get out of, only to bring it back into, our existence. And the only thing that taught us is that, for those that actually bought into it, is that we were inferior to white folks. And see, one thing about it, again, is that when you are constantly being reminded of something, and you're constantly being told something, and you don't have somebody that's around you that is willing to fight against it, you'll begin to adopt that way of thinking. But see, the thing about it is that I've been through way too much and have overcome way too many obstacles to look at myself and call myself a second-class citizen. See, one thing that we have to understand, and I really wish that folks who are listening to this video, and again, this is not to dump on white people, because again, I'm not racist. But again, you have to put things in its proper perspective. Some people may get offended by what I say, and the only thing I can say is that, hey, if my words offend you, you can always unsubscribe and go somewhere else. But the thing about it, again, is I'm real about mine. And I don't play games. Not when it comes to these type of things, when it affects my people. We have to understand is that the world, actually, I would say this. President Trump thinks that black people are stupid. Did I say President Trump? I mean, that man in the White House, who is your president, thinks that black people are stupid. And see, one thing about it, again, is that what he is trying to do, he is wanting to get a reaction, an emotional reaction, mind you, from black folks about, oh, why are you going to bring this back, this, that, and the other? And see, what he wanted to be is he wanted to actually paint the black community to be in a state of helplessness and hopelessness, where we will begin to become over emotional and really beg and plead that he don't bring these things back. But see, what he doesn't realize is that black folks are not stupid. As a matter of fact, we are the most intelligent race, I believe. We can go and do a whole lot of stuff if we don't clown. But again, that's a title for a different video some other time in the future. But when we put our minds and our abilities, our capabilities to accomplishing something, we not only meet the qualifications, we exceed. My God, I mean, look at us. We are the best race, I believe, on earth, that other people want to even copy our food, our culture, our clothes, our language. They want to be us. Only, I guess, when it's convenient for them, for the most part. I can't speak of all white folks because, again, I don't know all white folks. I'm talking about, again, from what I'm seeing just as a general person looking at what's going on in society. Because, again, you do have some good white folks. And I have to say that some of those white folks actually helped me also get to where I am. So, again, I just want to put that part out there. Because if I'm going to say one thing, I'm going to say, what's true for everything. I'm not going to put one race down, but I'm going to say about what I encountered from all of my experiences with different races. But my thing, again, is that he really feels that, again, that black folks are inferior and that they are going to beg him not to bring it back. See, again, I already told you that man in the White House is a very arrogant person, very arrogant. And even when he is wrong, he still does not want to admit when he's wrong. He wants to somehow still turn around and make a bad situation much worse, as long as it makes sense in his mind. And we already know that he's a very simple person. It is what it is. But the issue is that he's not getting the reaction that he wants from black folks. If you go and look at or pull up any video on YouTube, and look at how typical black people are actually reacting to this, they're saying that, hey, they hope that he does it. They want him to bring this into effect. It's not going to hurt the black community any because, again, we are learning and we have learned. We still got some more learning to do. But we have learned that, hey, maybe we might be better off with just being on our own. So we can go back to doing what we were supposed to do in the first place, which is build our own communities without any interruption from other races. And do for our own. Build our own schools. Educate our own children to let them know what our true history is and what it had become once we discovered or made the Americas. So basically, again, you're not getting any sob or any woe is me from most black Americans, again, because a lot of them are saying, I really could give two hoots one way or the other. And the thing about it is that I'm on that boat. I really don't care what he does. Because, again, I don't expect nothing good from him because, again, he is not a good person. He's only there, again, to represent and to be all about him and his kind. Old, rich, and white. So that's why I really don't care what, again, I'm still going to be cognizant of what's going on in my community because, again, I'm not crazy. I have to live in this world, too. And I want to know what is going on so I will know how to pray. But as far as all of this other extra stuff, I really don't expect anything, good from him because, again, he does not have any good attributes that anybody would want to emulate. Again, he's very arrogant. And all of his moves that he's making, all he's doing is upsetting people, the very people that he actually promised that he would take care of. All the way to the point now, again, where, Canada is one of our major enemies now. And the sad part about it, again, is that the person that were just elected, I guess, as the head spokesperson for Canada is already saying that, what they're about to do to three major states in the United States. I think it's Michigan, Minnesota, and New York, something like that, where they're going to begin to either increase, their electric bills or they're going to shut off electricity, outright because, again, of Trump's foolishness. This is crazy. I mean, it's like every day he is finding for you to hate him even more. But see, one thing about it again is that hate, I shouldn't even use that word, but hate is such a strong word, and I don't really want to be accused of saying that. But I will say this. He makes it very easy for people to see why he won't be, I guess, liked. If I can just kind of put it like that without actually being overt with what I'm thinking, again, and I know it's not all about liking someone, but the issue is that he's making it very possible and every day that people are really thinking of him in a new low. His polls are already down. I think the last time I checked, it was like at 47%. And it's even going down even more as we speak. And this man is not even a couple of months. He's only this is March. That's January. He was elected January. So February, March, 2 months in, almost going on 3 months. And basically now it's like, it almost feels as if we've already spent a lifetime with his man. We are ready for these 4 years to go by already. Because again, we don't know what the state of this country is going to be in by the time he gets done. Like I said, it's crazy because, again, not only is he crazy, his sidekick, Elon, there's reports about he's about to cry and beg his stockholders, the people who actually have, shares in his stock. He wants them to hold on to their shares and not sell them because, again, that would affect his bottom line. This man is begging and pleading with his people, the people that work for his company that I guess that has shares in Tesla. I say, my goodness, this man here, come on. It's funny to watch. And I'm not saying that to be mean or whatever, but it shows you just how quick arrogant people can be brought down low. And now, again, there was reports of people going and setting fire and throwing out and busting out windows of people that actually own Teslas. Like I say, I'm keeping an eye on the news and seeing, and I'm not saying that that's right because it's not, but the people are fed up already. This is early in this man's presidential, regime. And you're already having a mass outcry that is equal to somebody that was in office for years. Need I say impeachment? I know that word was floating around a couple of times too. So again, it's crazy. It's very crazy to see what's going on right now. And, and the thing about it is that, again, I'm here for it only because, again, I'm looking at it from an educational standpoint to see what we can learn from this. It's time away to put away with trying to be a Mac to the women and all this time and stuff, trying to look good or whatever. You need to turn around and look at what is going on as far as your society, what's going on in the political arena. Yeah, I know. Like I said in the last video, politics was never anything that I was interested in. But one thing about it, again, is that even though I was not interested in it, that still did not stop my capacity to learn about what's really going on and what it's all about at its core. So just because you don't like something, that doesn't mean that you don't actually study it to learn something about it. Otherwise, how will you know that you like it or not if you haven't given it a try? You see what I'm saying? So I really did not want to do a video, at least not of this kind. But when I sat back and really thought about this, and I was like, you know what? I think I need to speak on this because, again, people may not look at it in the way that it really should be looked at. Again, he is putting out this law and it's all about, trying to get a reaction from black folks, an emotional reaction. But what we have to do is turn around and be intelligent in our response to his nonsense. That's all that I have for now, folks. You guys have a great day and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.